Welcome to Comedians. I'm your host, Marcella Riley. It's been a minute since we've done it, and it's been because of COVID. So I'm glad we're back. It feels a little comfortable to be around people, so that's why we're doing the show again. We have a really great show today. It's going to be super fun. I'm going to be talking to a Detroit comedian. His name's Jeff Horste. He was on a show with Kevin Hart. He performs at the Laugh Factory. He's got a Comedy Central special. This dude's busy. So it's going to be a great interview. But before I bring him on, I have something that I found that was really dope. I want to share it with y'all. It might look silly right now, but it's a water bottle. It's not a regular water bottle. It is made by this company called Puffco. Puffco is located in Valencia, California, and they specialize in making products that are for dabbing. So basically make really high-end weed products. So they recently came out with this water bottle, and it looks like a basic ass water bottle, but it's a bong. Oh, you didn't know that, huh? So we got a bong water bottle. I'm gonna show you how to use it real quick. Jeff and I are gonna be smoking out of it. So I'm gonna show you how we use this. And then I don't know what's gonna happen after that. We're just gonna have fun. So this is how you use this. You're gonna open it up here. And we're gonna pour some water. So they recommend on their website, or the video that I watched, to pour this up to 420 milliliters. Duh. There's a line that indicates that. Right there. So I got mine 420. I like to put ice in my bong to cool down the smoke. So I'm gonna drop some ice in my water bottle. Ooh, that sounded like something dropping in a toilet.
I never knew about the ice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoy weed. I'm not weed savvy.
Oh, you about to be savvy.
I didn't.
You about to be super savvy. And then this is the water filter. For those of y'all who know what that's for, there you go. Okay. So once that's in there, we're gonna flip open this mouthpiece here. And look what we got. Bam. We got some hidden weed. It's a storage, a hidden storage for your flower. And you're just gonna take off the little silicone tab and put the storage into the air hole. And if you've ever ripped a bong before, you know what's about to happen. But if you have not, check this out. I think I did it. I don't know. Oh yeah, I did it. That worked. This is my first time taking a rip off of this. Oh yes, it works. So this is what we're gonna be smoking out of. It's called the Budsy, made by Puffco. I'm not getting paid by them or for them or anything. They didn't give this to me. I bought it. So it's not a sponsorship thing. But if you stick around to the end of the episode, Jeff and I are gonna tell you what we think about the Budsy. Ooh. I love to smoke. So, everybody, this guy, I have been having a blast researching him and basically stalking him and learning about him. It's gonna be, I hope I ask questions that have not been asked before. I think I will. But he has a Comedy Central special out right now. It's called Kevin Hart Presents Next Level. He's always on the Chocolate Sunday show. I think he just had a show that's at the Laugh Factory. And he has a cool series called Roast This Post. I am so excited to get it with Jeff Horste. What up, dude?
Hey!
Thanks for being on
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I appreciate this.
How's your Budsy going?
It's going. I'm just in the pouring the weed in step. And I just made up using the instructions to pour it in. I don't. My girlfriend introduced me to weed basically, and I have regrets of the times in life I didn't smoke weed. That's where I'm at. Where I'm like, I can't believe I didn't smoke weed in college.
Do you mind if
dumb is that?
May I ask your age?
I'm 33.
Okay, and you started smoking when?
How long have we? I don't know, 24.
Okay, That's not bad.
So I'm just like, oh man, you know, and like all my college friends, they're just like,
I think that's
I drank with them and I didn't smoke for some reason, and then the whole world unlocked.
Yeah, when you start smoking, I didn't start smoking till like around the same age, but I grew up in Long Beach, so it's weed is everywhere, and
it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
You trip over it. It's just.
It's like in Africa how they lined up on the streets. I don't know if you like been in Africa, but weed it just grows on the streets. But yeah, okay.
I feel like I'm already doing it wrong.
Okay,
what did I do wrong so far?
This is the mouthpiece here. And then so my bad. Take the storage piece out. And then you're gonna put it in the air hole right there.
Oh, okay.
And then push it down a little bit. Maybe, but not too hard because you have to pull it out. So when you rip it, you gotta pull it out. Now pull it out. Do it. There you go.
I did what you said not to do, and I pushed it in too far. So
you got
it was
all
too
that
hard.
weed smoke.
I can't pull this thing out. So yeah, that's an important lesson. Pull it out.
Pull it out. Whew. Oh man, you get it? There you go.
There's still some ways to go.
Okay, so you started smoking after college, which I think is totally fine. It's not a bad time to start smoking. Tell me about let's not even get to. Well, what kind of weed do you? Now that you smoke, what kind of weed do you buy?
I prefer sativa, and then indica at night is really what it is.
Does indica actually help you sleep? Is that why you do it?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I can still sleep after having sativa. Like, I don't think it like keeps me up like some people are like, no, I can't sleep. But it makes me a little bit more tired. So I feel like that's the time that I've given up on the day. And to me, indica is like I've decided I don't want to be productive.
Okay.
It's a decision I made where I will not be using 100% of my brain anymore. Okay,
I feel you. I found indica for me to be, I can use it for whatever, like it's same as sativa.
Okay.
But the only reason why I don't really smoke it is if I have some really bad anxiety, it just heightens it. So I just avoid indica because of the...
Indica heightens your anxiety? Oh. I usually hear people talking about that about sativa.
I do too, yeah. I think we're just all different.
Well, there you
we
go.
all just smoke different. Do you have are you like a specific strain that you like? There's so many.
I'm really just lazy with all things of having to have a favorite. So to me, just any, like, I was like addicted to energy drinks and never had just give me it. That's where I'm.
Don't care what it is.
So I like sativa, but I don't think there's been a specific strain that I've ever really like gotten into.
So you don't like read the percentage of THC?
I've gotten too lazy and accustomed to my girlfriend doing all of the research and work. And so she has favorites and I just enjoy weed.
Whatever, yeah.
So then it's usually just all following her lead of of all of the research for it.
That's fine. That's the easy way to go.
Yeah. We will use like the packs sometimes. We'll use a regular bong, not this fancy thing, which I think this is like so you can bring it on a plane. Like this looks like a bong you could travel with.
Yeah, like a game. I got my weed taken from me at the Dodger Stadium, which is so
Gotten taken from you?
Yeah.
From like security or just like a dude that was being a bully?
Give me your weed. No, I was in line waiting to get security check, and I had the one police officer. Everyone else had like the regular Dodger Stadium security, and I had the one
no
LAPD.
Bombs, keep going. Yeah, they don't.
Yeah. But then the officer was like checking everything and unscrewing everything, and just like, what is that? What is this? What is this? What is that? It's done. Yeah. All my weed was gone, all of it. But it was a Grateful Dead.
Check you that hard at the airport, just shaking you down like that.
Listen, I'm a black woman, so These things are probably more scrutinized for me.
Sure.
Speaking of black, you grew up in Detroit.
I did.
Did your family were they? Is that like a family? Your family was from there, and you guys just raised there, or did they move there?
Yeah, my parents both grew up not too far outside of like a Detroit suburb, and then they moved to. I grew up at there's a city called Southfield.
Okay.
And there's I grew up at 8 Mile and Evergreen, and so I was like across the street from Detroit, basically.
Oh, okay.
So I grew up in Southfield, but then when I tell people that I grew up in a suburb of Detroit, there's so many. Southfield is still a majority black city, so
yeah.
I feel like I've had too many audience members get confused when I just didn't mention Detroit, and they're like, so they're picturing some rich white suburb, and they're just like confused.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because I've had people, unfortunately, because that's the world, where if I talking about racial issues doing stand-up, they'll come up to me afterwards and just be like, so why do you care? Like, it's just like, wow, what a fun. And I've gotten it enough times to be like, even if somebody's not bold enough to ask it, that might be in the back of someone's mind where they're like, why is this white guy talking about race this much?
Well, why do you talk about race this much?
I think it all kind of blended in from growing up.
Yeah.
So then when I did stand up, the first place I did stand up was in Ann Arbor. There was an open mic at a place called Big Ten Burrito, and I went to college right outside of Ann Arbor, and I started stand up a little bit after that, and the first few times I quickly found the black comedians to be just the most accepting, and maybe it was also a little bit for my comfortability, because that kind of represented more of my friends growing up in. But the starting out in the white rooms, it took me a while to adjust to making white people laugh. Basically, there was a few years where I was just like, everything I want to. They'll get so offended talking about hunting, like where it's like there's places where if you talk about hunting, it's like they get offended, like you said some racist shit, like that at that level.
Life,
that's
right?
their They accept some people, and I just like it makes me want to make fun of it more because I'm like it's a hobby, dude. It's a hobby. It's not your life, man. Relax. If I can't insult somebody's hobby, what the fuck are we doing at a comedy show?
I agree. Yeah.
But I didn't have that level of confidence to call them out directly. I was just like, every time I say those jokes, they don't like it.
Yeah.
Primarily I did shows in Detroit.
Okay.
Out. And I feel like I'm very high and I'm interrupting you. Am I interrupting you? Am I talking too fast? All right. Continue.
Or you were talking. You interrupted yourself.
All right. Yeah. No, I feel like... Because I can ramble.
That's okay. My mouth is so sticky. Yeah.
Because I feel like you said something like, "Where's my family from?" And then now we got here. So in my mind, I'm like, I don't even know if I answered her question.
You said no. This is good. You're good. You're doing good.
Okay.
Jeff, you're doing great.
Thanks.
You're doing great. I will add though that when I'm somewhere else and people are joking about LA and they're like, LA traffic, I'm like, fuck you. You're not from LA, so don't talk about LA. So I kind of get it, ish. But so that's my point with that. But with your family, so they grew up in Detroit. They didn't move. They just grew up there, and then you guys were born there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yep.
So then, I want to know about. Do you have any siblings?
Yes, I'm the youngest of 4. I'm an older brother and then 2 older sisters.
Okay. Do you guys all get along? Mm-hmm. That's good.
Yeah.
You guys have always gotten along? I mean,
for the most part, other than just regular, like, my big brother acting like a big brother type shit, And
then mom and dad, what do they do?
My mom helps out. My older sister and my brother own a daycare. And my mom, growing up, she was a sign language interpreter. And now she just, now she's retired and works at the daycare.
Okay.
And just helps with that. And my dad pretty much just helps with that too right now.
Okay.
But growing up, yeah, he worked at like grocery stores and whatever he could find. And I think that that's always partially, like, I feel really lucky doing comedy and having a supportive family for it, because my dad was always like, I mean, I'm broke and I don't like my job. Fucking go be broke and enjoy something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
if that's, it's, you know, so he kind of always was like supportive of any, I used to do yo-yos and he would like take me to
Yo-yos?
do little, yeah. He used to like I would play with a yo-yo competitively. Like I was a weirdo. And, and my dad was like, yeah, this is fucking weird. I don't know if he wants to play with a fucking yo-yo. I did.
Oh, how big are they?
See, there's just I don't know. There's sometimes it would be on a yo-yo. It would be like first place. Here's a little yo-yo.
That makes sense.
And
you got first place.
And then I stopped sometimes, but there's also different. They would have different like rankings. So there'd be like, I would be like in the intermediate or middle class type of a thing. Like it got deep. Like it wasn't like basically I was never like first place in like the pro shit.
And it goes pro, okay.
Yeah.
So like, does this still exist? I'm sure it does. There's like
I'm sure it does somewhere if I had to guess, but the reason it stopped for me when I was in, I think I was in like middle school, and it stopped just because in Michigan, there was really just one place selling yo-yos. And it was a store that was in like every mall. And then they were just like, we're just gonna move to Ohio. Like one day I went to like this like yo-yo class that they would have at the mall, and then they just the other kiosk was like, no, they're down in Toledo now, and we're just like, okay.
But you also went to a yo-yo class.
Yeah,
this is like
classes and shit. Yeah.
So it's probably now in Ohio. That's where the yo-yo is at.
Yeah. And then I think that's kind of how it died out, at least in Michigan around my age, because they were like, I'm not.
If it's not, you're gonna
it's
go
not
out of your
around
way.
and it wasn't. Yeah. Nobody was passionate enough about it to.
Well, that's a fun thing to grow up with, though. How many years did you do that?
How many years did I do? I feel like I did that like 3 or 4 years or something.
That's a fun experience.
Yeah.
Yo-yo king. Is it, or the yogurt king? Yo-yo king. What would you say? You said your mom was a sign language interpreter. What would you say your mother? What's kind of the most valuable thing your mother has taught you, or lesson she's taught you?
Oh wow, the most valuable lesson
or memorable.
Oh man, the longer I pause, the more I'm a bad kid. I gotta think of something. Quick. Mom, if you're watching this, you've taught me a lot. You gotta give me, I feel pressure on the one answer.
Or a family member? Any family member?
Except my parents didn't have like, they didn't have like sayings.
Yeah.
So there are things that I've learned from them, but I always hear other people like, as my dad always said, and they had like a quote, and I was like, yeah, no, my dad didn't do quotes. But a lot of it was what I learned from both my mom and my dad was just kind of to enjoy whatever you do, because I felt like, you know, my dad's a great person, but he was just grumpy growing up because
he didn't like his job.
You know, and we were always broke. But my mom seemed to be, I mean, like her dad is deaf, so she grew up doing sign language, and she seemed to just be happier. I think because of that. And they were both very vocal and supportive of me doing comedy from the very beginning. And I think that just my outlook on just do whatever makes you happy. It sounds so like cliche, but I feel like I learned that from my parents. Because they just let me go to college and waste money, and then now like it might have been a little bit too far in the other direction. Like I wish they would have been like, don't fucking go to college. What's that for? What are you gonna learn? The right ones going forward. You should try to talk your kids out of going to college. Oh my gosh.
I think that's so true.
It's
so true.
Because then I feel like if they fight back, And they're like, no, but I really want to be a doctor. And you're like, all right, you passed the test. Fucking now you can go. But if you can just talk a kid out of it easily, that means he doesn't have a thing he's excited to try to do. Now, like I went because I felt obligated. I was like, this is a thing that you have to do. Otherwise you're a failure kid. So I think there was something that really I found interesting recently, I think there was an article I read that said that they believe that we should stop asking children, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Okay.
Because as a kid, you only think of like 3 things that exist. And then you think all that was the first important question I ever had was, what do you want to be when you grow up? And then it's like,
what was
you're trying to think of that. It's like, I want to play tag, get out of my face, you know? So then you start to think that's when you're a person.
Oh, okay. I get it.
So I feel like if any like depression I had as a kid was me not knowing that I eventually, until I found comedy, it really helped a lot. Just because I was like, I haven't found the thing that I get to be an adult.
Yeah.
I worked at Jimmy John's. I'm like, I'm not gonna be a sandwich maker. I'm not gonna just die sandwich maker on my grave. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when am I an adult? And yeah, I don't know. Where is my family from? Is that what we're still?
You answered that like 3 times now. Okay, so you mentioned you've had a lot of Black friends. What's something that you have learned by being around so many Black people that you would not have learned if you had grown up just around people like you?
Let me think. I've learned there seems to be, from, I would just say, non-white families in general, but for me growing up, I saw it first in Black families, just more of a respect for family. Mm-hmm. And I think that was always just interesting to me, because it was like, I'd see some, you know, people who'd have their cousins, they're, you know, living with them, and it's like, no, cousins are people you see on holidays.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's more of what I'm used to, where it's just like, I'm not like best friends. I love them all, you know. Yeah. If you're watching, I'm sorry, I love you, but we didn't hang out. I didn't hang out with them as a kid. It's not like we went to the movie theater or went to the mall. It seems like I would see my cousins mainly just on family occasions. Somebody's birthday or something, it would be at the most. Yeah. And so that was something that I learned of just how important family can be, if that's like kind of something that you look at the whole entire time. Like, I feel like I'm trying to be a better grandson now lately, because I feel like I've people my age, like a lot of them, I still have both sets of grandparents.
Oh wow!
And I know a lot of people my age that are like, no, I didn't start with both. You know what I mean? Or when I was 5, or you know, I lost, and so I feel like I want to make more of an effort to, like, you know, give them a call and see them and
you
visit
call them?
And shit. I do. Yeah.
When's the last time you spoke to them?
I should call more. My Grandpa Lee, my mom's father, he's the one that's deaf, and so I call Sorensen. There's like a company that you call, and then you give the phone number, and so it's like he's like Zooming, he's like Skyping with somebody who's an interpreter, and so I called him a few days ago, and now I just like send him pictures. So
that's like gotta be.
I love taking pictures, and I found I didn't have I don't do anything. I love taking pictures just from my phone, but because I'm too simple and bad at decisions, the same thing with like weed. I'm not like, no, it's just whatever phone I have, I'm passionate taking that's it. I'm not gonna, but learning how to actually have like a camera, I'm like, that sounds like too much work. I'm just gonna be boring and have my phone because I'm not publishing them. But then I have like a terabyte of fucking storage just of pictures of a museum or a tree or a park, and nobody's ever gonna see them. They're just in my phone taking up space.
I like to think that one day I'm gonna go back to those and like do something with them.
Yeah. Oh, that's where I was going. Yeah, I send them to my grandpa now. That's what I do. That's what I do.
So you said, okay.
Yeah, he loves them, and then you overthink it. Don't debate which bench is perfectly in the center of whatever landscape. No, just picture from a grandson.
Do you send him like all 5 shots of that same thing? It's just like different angles that you're trying to.
No, I would just pick one of them and move on to the next. I'm just saying, like, I'll take like, if I was gonna post something on Instagram, I would make sure that it was like, in my mind, if I'm taking 20 pictures of the sunset, I'm gonna like debate which one, the sun's in what exact corner of the frame. But if I'm sending it to my grandpa, I'm like, he's not gonna think that much about it as me. He's just happy to see that sunset.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope. So you're really close to your family.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good way to because comedy is so hard to pursue, and you have that support.
Yeah.
During something that I don't know if it was an interview or one of your jokes, but you mentioned. You threw out there like comedians are super sensitive people, or really sensitive people.
Yeah.
What would you say would make you the most sensitive, or what are you sensitive about as a comedian? Like, what is something that when you're on stage, you're like, if no one laughs, or like maybe.
Oh, like what am I sensitive about? Like that I say,
or an insecurity, maybe that like a. A comedian and an insecurity that you would have.
I think that comedians in general are insecure. It's just I feel like there's just a lot of comedians where it's like especially if you get in the habit too much of like, that's what makes me happy is other people laughing, then now you've made my happiness is when I can make other people. Then you can't, you know what I mean? It's that can be like a bad habit, I think, to base all of your happiness on. If you put your entire life into comedy, and then it's like, you play with a puzzle, do some yo-yos, fucking do something. but if you just, all of happiness is comedy, then it's just like, well, then if you have a bad set, then it's like, that's everything. You know what I mean? So I sometimes will put too much pressure on shit, and then I have to like take a step back and be like, no, this is, you gotta relax.
Well, when you did your the Comedy Central special with Kevin Hart, like that's like, I mean, I don't even know. Like, were you scared, nervous? What were you feeling?
I was more nervous so there's 2 shows I got to do with Kevin Hart, and one of them was called Heart of the City, and then each episode is a different city. So I did the Detroit episode, and I was more nervous for that, because that was like my first like TV appearance just in general, and meeting Kevin Hart and all. The half hour, I was more excited because he picked me from that show basically. So then I was like, oh, well, this guy already likes me. You know what I mean? Like the audience is gonna, I kind of knew almost what to expect, that it wouldn't be like a cold audience. You know what I mean? There's, they're gonna get them ready and get them excited and stuff. So I was more just excited for the half hour. That's good.
How long had you been doing comedy up until that point?
I would say, what am I, 8 years? Because I feel like I'm at 11. It was 10 years and then quarantine. I guess we still count it. We gotta count it. I don't know. If you did a Zoom show, you gotta count that year.
Awkward Zoom show.
You should have. If you would have sat out the whole year, I feel like you wouldn't have to count that year. But I think, like, based off of like, I don't know, sports rules. If I played a game that season, I think it counts.
Oh, okay, I get you. Yeah.
So I think I did comedy for 11 years.
11 years, gotcha.
Now, and so I want to say, damn, there's math, there's high math, and then there's high live recorded math. Shit, what year was that? Yeah, let's say 3. That feels right. Final answer.
So wait, you were performing for 3 years and then got that.
No. I'm sorry. 3 years ago. So 8 years.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm trying to think of how long ago I did the special. And I'm like, well, I'm at like 11 years now of doing it.
Oh, okay.
So
whatever. You did great.
Yeah, thanks. I hope I got that math right. I could Google it right now and figure it out, but
it's fine.
Math, fuck it.
It's no big deal.
Overrated. That's what I always say.
Math.
No, I don't say that. I'm trying to pretend like I have sayings, but I don't.
Who has sayings? You mentioned like families having sayings.
Yeah, like, every time.
I only see like rich families on TV shows have sayings. That's it.
I think I just have friends that it's just a small base of people, but yeah. I'm used to, do you know Ron Taylor?
The name is familiar.
I don't know. He's a friend of mine. He's also a comedian, and he lives out here as my roommate. And I feel like he just remembers everything that his family's ever said. So just lately in my head, and then I see that on TV of everybody's family having sayings, and then you see like if it was like American Idol or something.
Oh, they do have sayings, yeah.
Yeah, then everybody's like my father always told me, and I was just like, damn, my parents didn't give me sayings.
Or it could have been sayings that it just maybe wasn't delivered in that capacity of like, I could think of things. It would just be
like, don't forget a jacket. My dad always thought I was going to get cold and regret it later. That's the most consistent saying that he
Really?
had.
That's what he always said? Then that's it. That's his saying, I guess.
He'd get angry. He'd get anxiety at the thought of you being cold in 5 hours because of a decision that you made. So he could have just been like, I hope this fucking kid does get cold. I told him to wear a jacket. He wants to be stupid. He'll be cold later.
So he was legit.
He'll learn. That's what he could have said, and he would have been stress free. But instead, he'd be like, God damn it! No, you're too cool to bring a jacket. Then he would just get mad at me.
Aw.
For
real mad?
Not like for just the way that he got mad.
Okay.
Just father mad.
Yeah. I see. Okay. So that was his saying. Wear a jacket.
Wear a jacket.
You're gonna tell your kids that. What would you, because a lot of your comedy with Roast This Post, it's a lot of like social, like you're talking about social issues. Mm-hmm. How do you decide like what it is that you want to talk about for that episode?
Yeah, I think that I think of, I try to like gather a list of just things that are happening currently. And if I can do something about something that's like, that's been in the news recently, that helps. But otherwise, sometimes I'll try to do one of something that's happened in the news lately, and then I take too long to figure it out, and then I don't do it, and then it's just an idea of then I'm like, okay, but what was the bigger picture of that? And so then if I can think of. So then sometimes that's how some subjects come about, of like just thinking like the bigger picture idea.
One of the issues I feel like is that with white people, you guys have been, not you, but in general, have had a difficult time talking to each other about race and privilege. With your audience, with Roast This Post, do you find that you have a white audience, and are they receptive to the things you say?
There is. I'd say the majority of the audience is black, but I do know that many white people that are receptive to it and either have slightly changed their beliefs or just majority just kind of felt that way to begin with.
And did they tell that to you through the comments or?
Yeah. It doesn't. Usually, if somebody disagrees, it's usually just a lot of angry words. But I do remember the times where somebody DM'd me and was like, somebody else. I didn't say anything. I said whatever it was in the video, and then a black woman explained to somebody why their comment was incorrect, and then he DM'd me about it. And was just like, I'm sorry, I never looked at that. I never looked at that, and was like, wow.
That's cool. So in the comments though, they're like having a dialogue about it too.
Yeah. There is a lot of dialogue in the comments.
That's cool. I didn't check the comments because it's like, I don't know if YouTube is monitoring them yet anymore, but
YouTube.
I had to take a break from the comments.
My Facebook following is the biggest, and those are the ones where the comments can get a little bit more fun, because on YouTube I think it's more just like there might be like 3 comments of somebody being like, "You're stupid," and like, I don't know, just the letter "you are."
Like, okay, that kid.
Yeah. YouTube comments are the best.
Have you? I've had some white folks, some of my white friends, tell me that they have been unfortunately in a room with someone who said something racist and thought that they would agree because they were white. Have you ever experienced that before? Like just being in a room, it's just one other person just joking around, and then they say something so foul and like, what?
Yeah. Where you had to figure out, is this a shock value thing?
Yeah.
Is this in your heart?
Yeah.
Is this, and then measuring that, and there's the awkward sometimes looking around like, is anybody who's gonna be the first one? If someone, you're like, are we all gonna take this together? Or
is it
what
you?
are we?
Who does it? Who's the one?
Yeah. So sometimes there's like a look of like, all right, Jesus, who's gonna take this one?
Do you feel, because you do a lot of your stand-up is that, and all your shows are that. So do you feel comfortable?
I felt speaking out more as I've gotten older. I can't think of too many environments growing up where I wasn't one of the only white kids. So I feel like I feel like if I was, I would have been just as ignorant as any other white kid. I feel like if I was in a different environment, but I usually I don't feel like I got that into that environment until like college, and then I started to do comedy like around that time, and I think that so it wasn't that often that I was like just a whole bunch of white people and one of them just making jokes type of settings.
Yeah, that's good.
But
do you you've toured around a lot, and so you've been in lots of different types of rooms. Do you have a preference in like the kind of audience? Like who's your favorite kind of audience?
If I was to just want the goal be just have as much fun as I could on stage, I'd like the percentage and age of each person. What do you mean? Like I feel like I would want a majority black audience.
That's cool.
The age range of around my age to 20 years older. I don't know.
So that's where because you do in your head, you know, like you just know. You know. So that's okay. That's cool. No.
I feel like that's when I have the most fun on stage.
Okay.
And but I still do headline like, you know, the white clubs, for lack of a better term, in front of white people in white land.
Yeah, and, white land.
Like you're in something Oklahoma, you know what I mean, type of a thing. And those are always interesting because then I have to make the decision like, sometimes you're like, I don't think I'm ever gonna come back here. And if you like, if that's in your head, that's just a lot of like, would it be more fun for me to make this awkward? I could talk about book bags for 45 minutes. You know what I mean? Like I find things other than race funny. So I don't feel like I don't feel like obligated to talk about it necessarily in like any different setting. But when I know that the audience like disagrees with my beliefs as a human being, then it's like, do I want to try to sneak it in a little bit to where like, and then, or do I want to build? Do I want to make it awkward as fuck just up top because there's too many Trump flags in the parking lot and then just open up that way? But
so scary.
So
I would not.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to imagine like going to like a job, a comedy, like to go perform, just saying that I'm like, do I want to perform here right now?
Because some people don't even Google the comedian they're gonna see. Like they don't even like. There's people that just go to the comedy club.
That's true.
And then like in my bio, it like literally, and I put that in there just so I could say "fuck you" to the audiences when they tense up. I put some line of like, it jokingly like talks about lighthearted things like book bags and social equality, or I forgot how I worded it. I don't remember it off the top of my head. But then I can just be like, well, no, fuck you. You didn't Google this. You didn't know. You went to a movie. You didn't even know what the movie was. You just went to the movie at 8:00, and then you got upset that you didn't like the movie.
No returns.
Yeah.
No.
And if I know that I'm like, this isn't going well enough for them to want me back unless like I'm a famous person.
Yeah.
And then that changes things. So if that's in the back of my mind, sometimes I'll talk about race more.
Okay.
If I feel like if I'm like, I still want to work on this joke, I'm not gonna come back here.
Test it. Yeah, that's true.
Because when it was the most awkward was when I was working on my half hour, because this is what my half hour will be. So I know that I know that if I wanted to make these group of people laugh, it would not be with this half hour. You know what I mean? Like, it would be more comfortable jokes that didn't talk about race in front of the Midwesterner, white people, and it's like, and I feel like in the North they almost want to talk about race less because somehow they think the South is where all racism is. And it's like, they really overdo that a lot. And so it's just the talking about race, I feel like in Michigan a lot of times, in Ohio and Indiana was just was difficult.
Yeah, I'm sure. But you do it so often, so I don't know, you did pretty well.
Thank you.
I have another question, like super completely different direction. Not different direction, really.
Okay.
When did you start smoking weed?
I tried. I think there was like 10 times that I tried that I feel like it didn't do anything, which in retrospect means am I dumb? I don't know what I did wrong. First, like 10 times I tried smoking weed, it was just, I felt nothing.
Okay.
And
flower?
I'd say it was around 22 or something. Yeah.
Okay.
And then when I was 24, my girlfriend enjoys smoking weed, and she was a little bit more like, no, that's what people say that, and then maybe it's the 11th time, but no, you're not the one person that marijuana has no effects on. You're not that guy. All right, you just keep trying.
It's gonna happen.
And then that was fun. That was great.
What was your experience? When did you like really lean into it and like start accepting being a pothead?
Fully accept it? I might have accepted it like right away.
Okay.
Because I was like, I enjoyed it so much that I was like, nobody's gonna you've either tried it and you like it, you tried it and you don't like it, but you still understand why other people like it. Mm-hmm. I don't know anybody that could try it and be like, fuck that. That is better than this. You know what I mean? That's insane to me.
No one has a hard
That's insane to me. And to me, it's like, that's still just believing things from so long ago that it's like insane now. I feel like weed has crossed too many financial and racial spectrums of the United States for a lot of the previous, stereotypes about it to be believable anymore.
Yeah, but you still have people like, so my mother is always like, weed is bad. You shouldn't be careful. And then she's like, what you should try are these hemp pills that I'm taking. These hemp pills are really great. I'm like, okay. Not like, hemp is weed, Mom. Hemp is weed. It's the same thing. So it's like that. It's just there's the lack of education that is just, unfortunately, plagues the world at this point. Just like not even being, I don't even know how do your parents feel about you smoking?
I don't know if they know.
Oh, okay. Did you think that they would care?
No, I don't. This was kind of, I was like, that'd be fun if this is how they found out. Yay! It's because it's like, it's legal here.
Yeah.
So to me, I'm just like, this is legal. This marijuana is legal in the state of California. My right turn signal doesn't work. It was the illegal thing I did today was drive here.
Dang.
Not the smoking of the weed.
Don't say that on TV. Yeah, no, that's true. It's just it's unfortunate. It's getting better, but yeah, hopefully everybody will be fine with weed one day.
My mom had a different perspective. I would say with the last when it was up for election in Michigan, and from her experience, it was just like, well, yeah, the people that she's met that smoked weed were lazy. So she was like, And that was just the people that she knew. She didn't know that many people that smoked weed. So, so to her, she was like, I don't think anybody's a bad person for smoking weed. She's like, I just think she viewed it like cigarettes. Like, I don't think it's not good for you. Why would that, it makes you lazy. Why would you do that? Like, so it wasn't as much judgmental towards the people as the drug. But then when I kind of was like, had my little political passionate moment of like, all right, even if it does make you lazy, at the end of the day, black people are way more likely to be arrested for it. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure the white man will just try to find another way. They'll be, I'm not saying they're going to give up here, but it would make it a lot more difficult to just, you can't arrest somebody in Michigan now if a cop says they smell weed in your car, they have legal permission to search your car. Okay. So that doesn't mean anything. You can't say, maybe you do smell weed in my car because it's legal. So you smell that coffee too. You know what I mean? You got to come up with another thing.
Yeah.
And when I explained that, she was like, okay, that's a good point.
That's good.
So she was like, I'm not gonna, I'll vote for weed legalization,
Okay.
And so I don't,
And when did
it's like they're cool with it. I think my dad needs this. My dad needs weed.
Yeah, I mean, a lot. How does it help you? Like, it does. Like, in what ways does it like improve your life and help with like mental health?
I think a lot of the times that I would get the most anxiety would be towards the end of the day for me. Usually, I start the day in a good mood, and then towards the end of the day would be my. I'm not doing enough. I'm not working hard enough. There's people with less than me that are doing more. What's my excuse? Whatever worries. And when I'm high, or when I'm just even smoking to high on the whole spectrum, those thoughts, I don't think like that at all.
Yeah.
So, like for me, I've been on anxiety medicine, like for years, and but at some point it almost was just like medicine that you just have to take because your brain's used to having it for so long.
Ooh.
Where it's like, you know what I mean, where it's just like you don't even need the medicine, it's not balancing anything anymore, but it's like if I don't take it I get a headache. So now, you know what I mean, like that's how that can, if you take like Xanax or Lexapro or shit like that long enough, that's how it could be, for some people.
Yeah.
But then I'm just like, this is way better.
Super better. Way better. Because I was on antidepressants, but I got rid of it because it just I wasn't able to be myself and able to I wasn't doing my comedy, I wasn't doing my music or anything. And I was like, well, fuck this. I'd rather be depressed and still at least trying to do the things I love rather than like having those antidepressants in me. And then just not doing anything at all. So I got rid of it and I was like, I gotta find another way, other way. How long have you been? Do you mind mentioning the what you're on?
I'm on Lexapro.
Okay. How long have you been on it?
I started, because there was years that I stopped taking it and then I just went back. I started in college.
Okay.
Like I think towards college, because I just noticed that I was thinking differently. Like it was like, I was like, I need to go to the doctor because there's, I don't know what it is, but this sucks. I just always freaked out about imaginary things. Like it was like my brain was trying to brainstorm a thing to stress about. And like I didn't know who my, like things that like, you'll figure it out, but like this is when I was going into college. I had no idea who my roommate was. They didn't respond to that. Shouldn't be a stress at all. Yeah. But I'm like, but what shit do I bring? I'm gonna bring an entire apartment and then he brings an entire apartment. One of us is bringing the microwave, and that's not a thing to really stress about. But then I was like, things at that level would be like way bigger to me than they should be. And then I started taking Lexapro.
Okay.
Or I think they tried Xanax or something too much at first, and then that was like, I fall asleep when I'm driving. They're like, that's bad. Whoa. So let's try something else.
That happened?
And then yeah.
Oh no. Was everyone okay? I mean,
everyone was okay.
Okay.
I kind of hit the back of a lady's car.
Oh,
but
wow.
like not enough to like hurt her.
Okay.
Just enough to piss her off, you know?
I've had that happen before. Yeah. Get super mad. But you're okay.
Yeah.
So you've been on Lexapro since you said college?
Yeah. And then there were some years that I think just to do it, to feel like some self-control or something, I feel like I was like, I'm gonna wean off of it and, you know, cut it down and then just not take it anymore. And then so I did that for maybe like 3 or 4 years, or I forget exactly how long. But then I started taking it again, and I still take it now, because originally it was, and I've just been trying to go down on it just for the sake of doing it. I don't know if that's the right thing to do or whatever, but what was I talking about? Lexapro?
Yeah, Lexapro, going down on the dosages.
I had something.
Yeah, okay.
I had something.
How does it make you feel? So when you were off of it, what was that moment like for those 3.5 years?
Okay, yeah. Thank you. You got me back there. That was it. So when I was off it for 3.5 years, okay. So then I was off it until my girlfriend. And then she was like, then she kind of pointed out that I was kind of being stressed for no reason at some point, and was like, you might want to consider going back. And then I went back on it, and then I would always try to like get off of it, but then something else weird would happen. So then I had really bad acid reflux, and it got bad enough that pretty much at the time my doctor said it was called like silent reflux, where it's you don't get a lot of the negative symptoms until it's bad. Like you might not like feel the heartburn or anything like that throughout the process. But so I only loved things that were bad for it. Like I was just beer and hot sauce and lemons and fucking just only the worst things for this.
Yeah.
My doctor was just like kind of recommended me going back on anxiety medicine, because stress can make your acid reflux worse. And I was having trouble like breathing. My acid reflux was bad, where it was like, it felt like my throat was being pinched. He was like, we're going at this 100%. So whatever, when stress can make it worse. And I was like, well, I was on, he's like, go back on that.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay. So that's when I went back on it again.
Okay. I gotcha. And that's, you went back on it and have stayed on it.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had any therapy in between all of that? A therapist?
I went to the therapist like at college. Like there was like
cool.
Counselor therapist at Eastern Michigan, and I used to live in a frat house.
Okay.
I'm trying to word it in a way where you understand that I was not in a fraternity.
Okay. Okay.
Not the white guy that goes in. You know what? No offense to the people that want to pay for friends, whatever. But but you know, I don't know. And so, but there was a guy that I knew my freshman year. I went to the dorms. I lived in the dorms, and then there was a friend there that was like, "Oh, hey, they just need another." Last minute they had somebody that moved out. You don't have to be a part of the fraternity. You $500. You want a room or something like that. And I was like, yeah, that'd be great. Because my roommate last minute couldn't live, so I last minute didn't know what to do. And then that was not a good experience. Ooh. It was not a good experience. Got into some drunken fights. Some of the dudes that lived there tried to like grab my girlfriend's ass and do weird shit. And we got into a fight. And then somebody who moved out of the fraternity, who I thought was a normal person, recommended this house down the street. He's like, well, now that if you're gonna leave this place, now you need a new place. So I moved into what I eventually found out to be a crack house.
Oh.
But it was a real, you hear crack house and you don't picture a nice house.
Yeah.
So somebody let it be known. Somebody eventually was like, yeah, no, they've been chasing like a guy. I think you live in a crack house. There's like the police have been looking for somebody. And so then, then I tried to get my money back from the guy. Basically, so then, he did not at that time. He did later on.
Okay.
Which is
this
weird.
Is a happy ending. Okay.
Which is weird. But I did go to like therapy of like the amount of bad decisions of like, I'm fucking getting all these fights with, I don't know where to live.
Yeah.
I can't pick a place that's not a crack house or a place where everybody beats the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
And I think, and I'm at college for no reason. Just to check the adult list box.
That's a lot, yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I want to do with my life. And then I went to some counseling there, and the lady was great. I enjoyed talking to her. And then from there I was like, yeah, this is real. Like people need to do that.
Yeah.
People need to talk to strangers about problems in life, and just saying it out loud will make you feel better.
Saying it out loud, putting labels on things like this is what this is, or this is what that trigger is. Yeah. But
then the guy paid me back years later.
Did he hit you up and was like, hey, I got the money?
He hit me up and said that he wanted to make amends with people of his past or something. And I was like, okay. And like, I might have asked him like a couple of times after then, but then I was like, this is a loss. And but then he called me, and my brother went with me because he remembered my brother, because my brother is bigger than me, and he tried to intimidate him at the time that I moved my stuff out, and made him like sign a fake contract that he made him go type out a contract that, you know. And he's like, okay. So he was scared of my brother, so then he came with me. In case this guy's lying, because this is weird. Yeah. This is 6 years later or some shit, and now you just want to pay back somebody fucking $800 or something out of nowhere. This is just weird. And I get there, and he like gets it, because I forgot that he didn't drive. He's a bicycle adult. And it's not a bicycle city. You can it's not a bicycle city. If you're a grown man with a bicycle in New York, I ain't judging you. You're not getting far.
You call him a bicycle adult?
He's a bicycle adult.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
all right, go ahead.
So he got in we were letting him in the car, and but then I got out to see that it was the right place. And then when I sat back in, he got in the passenger seat, and then he looked at my brother, and we were going in reverse, like to go to the bank. That's what he was like, oh, I need to go to the bank. And then he like was like, I prefer to do my banking alone. And he like jumped out of the car. And then we waited in his driveway for like 40 minutes while he rode his bike to the bank.
What?
And then he came back. And then he gave me like $760, like, or if that was the number. I just know that he was like $40 shy, because he was like, oh shit, I should have kept something for myself. I'm sorry. I'll get you that later. And I was like, that's fine. He's never gonna. And then he still did.
Oh, he did?
Then he did.
How many hours later did he come back?
This was like 2 years later. I was working at Jimmy John's. And the Jimmy John's was like a mile down the street from where that was. And then he saw me one day. It was like a Sunday, and he's like, so do you always, he's like, oh, I remember you. He was just paying with his debit card that day, and he didn't have any cash. And he was like, are you going to be here next Sunday? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, all right. I'll be here. And then he came back and he gave me the $40.
So he's a good dude now.
Yeah, I think.
It's so fun. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I've never heard of anybody getting their money back. So
yeah, I know.
You did it. So I guess I'm going to start wrapping it up. So let me see. What other questions are going to ask you real quick? So one thing that you mentioned in some of your work is that you used to do door-to-door sales. Yeah. And you learned that it doesn't matter if you're right. It doesn't matter at all if you're right. It's about convincing the other person that you're right. So, all right, how would you convince an evangelical Christian Trump supporter, anti-vaxxer, that you're right? That was a deep one, huh?
That was. So to convince that evil person, I wouldn't be off to a good start right now.
Sure? If they heard me. Okay,
if they'd be like, you gotta hear me out.
Okay, but let me start. Okay.
Shake it off.
Just wait a second. I was warming up. Okay.
I feel like it would. I don't know if some people I could convince individually, but I would like look at history and try to show like this is what's been helpful in the past. And I think I remember that interview too. It was an interesting thought because I'm just like, I think there's just too many people that they want to get something done and they think that, well, I'm right, that means something. And it's like, that's not how the world works. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like your good intentions could be great, but it doesn't make it effective. And but you can feel good, like, oh, I did a thing. But you know what I mean? Like if you can go through the motions of life that way, if that makes you satisfied. But there's so many times in door-to-door sales where it's like somebody's paying $300 for, TV, internet, and phone, and I'm like, this is $100, and they're like, yeah, but it's just gonna go up later, and I'm like, not to 300. Yeah, they're gonna screw you at some point, but until then, you're gonna save, $200 a month for the next year. So worry about that in a year. And they're like, yeah, no, fuck you. And I'm like, what the fuck? But I was right.
I could have saved you money.
But I was right. That should do something. And I think that relates to so many things. Like in politics, there's a lot of people that are just like, but that's right, so that's what's gonna happen. They have too much faith in like the justice system as a whole, or just in their elders and politicians or anybody. Just people put a lot of faith into other people sometimes, and I'm like, even if they have good intentions, that might not. They might be right, but what are they doing? Yeah,
the actions.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know if that person specifically, I don't know. Maybe, hopefully just time. Hopefully that person makes a kid that.
So I was gonna say like love or something, something.
Yeah.
Experiencing someone different and loving them, caring about them. I think that's what it will take. So it's like no one can really teach that. You kind of have to experience it.
Yeah.
I don't know how you
throughout time, like it might not be a quick thing.
Yeah. Has anyone ever been like, you mentioned someone in your comments, but has anyone like in your life been like, you completely changed?
People, I do get a lot of nice compliments. There are people that say things like that, like online and stuff. Personally, I don't know if there's anybody that's been that bold. But I do feel like I have a lot of people that support me. Sometimes it's just funnier for me to talk about the people that message me hateful things. That's just more fun to talk about. But then sometimes I'll post stuff like that because it's just funny to me, and then other people will be like, "You should ignore the haters," and I'm like, I wanted to make fun of them. It's funny.
It's your show.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm not like, don't be bothered by it. Be the bigger person. I don't want to be the bigger person. Fuck this guy. How about that?
He's on your page. He came to you. I'll be the same way. Like, get off my page.
And you don't have to be. You can pick whatever part of the internet you want to go to. You can pick any part.
That is where I would take out all my anger and aggression on that person, like right there, like you. That is it. Everything.
I had a woman named Karen message me personally saying that, like, it sounds like satire, like it sounds like a joke, but no, for real. It was like she really was like, not all women. I'm named Karen, and this is this is making my life more difficult. And the white woman, I don't know if I had to express that if I didn't imply it. A white woman named Karen messaged me saying, fuck you, stop making fun of Karens. It's the big, and I'm like, oh man, where has this passion been on anything else before? What else have you messaged strangers about?
Ooh,
that with this level of passion?
So much.
And compare those issues. You know what I mean?
Some dumb shit, probably.
Yeah.
I know. Get out of here. Okay, well then, what did you think about Budsy?
I love Budsy.
Yeah.
I love Budsy.
What do you love about Budsy?
I can be clumsy. I can bring this on a plane, because it's just a water bottle. It's simple. It's easier to clean because it's a water bottle. It's easier to clean the bong because weird shapes and you gotta Google stuff and it builds up and it's ugly, disgusting, and then you feel like a terrible person when you're using it because you're like, look at all this crap.
Gross
what am I gonna
stuff.
clean this every single day? I'm not doing a chore. I'm already So then this, you don't gotta do any of that.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
I like it a lot. I do. I don't have to worry about breaking it.
Yeah.
I do feel like this is kind of sharp, you guys. But Puffco, these little edges here for my little petite hands, kind of sharp.
Oh wow.
But otherwise,
yeah.
No, because I kept hitting it or touching it.
Yeah. No, I didn't. That is
I'm pretty into it. Maybe if this, I have all kinds of. Okay, let me tell you. Okay, so
like when I make a better one, what I'm gonna do?
This could be deeper, so I could put more weed in there.
Yeah.
Put more weed in there.
Yeah, a bigger mouthpiece.
A bigger mouthpiece. You need a bigger mouthpiece?
The
bigger whole stash storage thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty into it. I still would be nervous like going to the Dodgers stadium again and trying to get in with weed. I would still be like having PTSD from that time.
The same dude and you're wearing the weed shirt.
I know, I totally would. This all the cops would be right there, all of them. So A+. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
So I was saying thank you, Jeff.
Thank you guys. Thanks to everybody. All the cameras and sound and stuff.
The people behind the cameras, you guys. Yeah. Some cool people behind the cameras. Thank you, Jeff, for being here. What's next for Jeff?
Trying to get out and do stand-up more places in the world. Trying to think of what I know. I'm doing a tour. I don't have the date set yet, but the first 2 weeks of Florida, first 2 weeks of December, I will be in Florida. All around Florida.
First 2 weeks of Florida.
2 weeks of Florida.
That's a Christmas song.
I'll be in December. But yeah. Then I'm jeffhorste.com or at Jeff Horste on social media. I have all my dates, and I'll be going back to Michigan. So in Ann Arbor Comedy, where I started. Yeah, back to Ann Arbor. I'm headlining the club there in September, first weekend.
Tight.
Yeah, that's it. And other shows.
Thank you so much for smoking with me.
Thanks for having me.
You guys, I feel like this was a really great episode. I hope y'all enjoyed it. It's been like really dope. I'm super high, and I'm glad if y'all stuck around to the very end. I appreciate you. Take care of your mental health. It really does matter. I just discovered this thing called tapping that helps with like anxiety. So yes, look that up. I should have told that to you because you had your anxiety. My bad.
You're telling me now.
I'm telling you now. But I think even then, yes, it's a cool app. It's called Tapping Solutions. That it's like there's these points on your body that you tap, and that it reduces my stress. I did it before everyone came here. It's super helpful. So check that out. That's a little tip for you. Thank you again. Be safe. Love you. Bye. Everybody, thanks for watching Dope Comedians. If you enjoyed what you saw, then tell your friends, share us with them. And you can also listen to the podcast version of this on Apple and Spotify. Remember to hit that like and subscribe button. And you can also follow me at Cool Black Chick. Thanks for talking with us, and live long and stay.